Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
Welcome everyone to my figure review of a dynamic action heroes, the Beast Kingdom Joker from the Batman 1989 movie. And yes, you did hear that right. This is an official Jack Nicholson Joker in action figure form. So I'm excluding Hot Toys and any other 1/6 scale third party company, as they are kind of on a different level and it's not quite the scale I collect. So in terms of the first Joker from this movie in modern day times, this is a first. And what I mean by modern day, the last 10 years, is a fully articulated figure. It has a full set of accessories and it has a true likeness to the character. Or at least I hope so. Even back then, I don't think the Kenner one got the rights to the Joker figure. They had a different paint on it, and with that makeup you can't tell if it's meant to be the actor or not. I have so much memories for this Batman movie. I watch it now and again. As I said in my Batman review, I always give an exception for this movie because it is in fact 1/9 scale, and the first Batman figure that I picked up was my first Beast Kingdom. I didn't realize how big it was, so you can see that the packaging is kind of similar and very unique in their own way. It's like a statue, all in black or white. It says for Batman it was number 56, which I assume was the 56 Beast Kingdom Dynamic Action Heroes. But then I can see that the Joker one says 32, even though it's a newer figure. So I'm not too sure on the numbering there. In terms of the box, I really like the way they presented it. You can see on the back it's got the picture of the figure and then all the details of all the accessories. And the side has a shot of, DC logo, Batman logo, Dynamic Action Heroes. We have a drawing of the Joker face, and it's not any old drawing. They actually used this in the movie because he was kind of promoting some sort of brand that he had, and he had this stamped on his helicopter. So that's pretty cool. And then at the top we have the official movie logo, and then at the bottom we have the Beast Kingdom logo. And I like the way Beast Kingdom have presented their figures. It's very Hot Toys-esque, as I know that Hot Toys obviously set the standards, and just the way they've packaged this kind of reminds me of it. So we have the cover, and then inside we have another slip cover with a photo. And then of course we have the figure inside this plastic clamshell. So we're going to get everything out of this packaging and take a closer look. So before we take a look at the figure itself, this is a quick overview shot of all the accessories outside of this packaging. And as you can see, there is a lot to play with. And I will go through all of them in a bit more detail later on. But a quick summary, we have the stand, alternative hair sculpt, plenty of interchangeable hands, and all of Joker's gadgets. And when I think of this Joker, I always remember his makeup, his suit, but very rarely do I remember exactly what gadgets he used. But this figure definitely reminds me of how much he had up his sleeve. So that is why he is Batman's greatest enemy. So here is the Joker figure out of his packaging, and I am almost lost for words on how good this sculpt is. This is definitely one of the best representations on any figure I have in my collection. And I think Beast Kingdom have nailed the look. And I'm not even sure how they managed to pull it off, because in the past they had some okay figures, but the likenesses were never quite there. But this Joker is almost perfect, and it's almost scary how accurate it looks. If you thought the photos were great, wait till you see it in person. You definitely won't be disappointed. And I know Hot Toys set the standards. This kind of feels like a mini Hot Toy to me. And even later, if Mezco or Mayface do one, then I think Beast Kingdom have set their own standard in terms of the smaller scales. So I'm really impressed by the way it looks, at least for the face sculpt. Now we can take a look at the rest of the body proportions. From what I'm seeing, it's okay. Now, the clothings can sometimes make a figure look more bulkier than he's meant to be. As you can see, this one has a lot of layering. So he has the shirt inside, and then he has some sort of waistcoat, and then he's got a blazer, and then he's got the jacket as well. All I assume is accurate to the movie. I remember the colors were right, and I think there were patterns on the tie. And I definitely remember the trousers. So the way they presented this, I think is very good. One thing you got to note is that soft good material figures are generally more expensive, like Hot Toys, Mezco, because they actually use very good materials, and this one kind of feels like it. So yeah, I'm really impressed by the materials they've used as well. In terms of being a tailored fit, it could be better, but I've definitely seen worse on figures. So first look, I'm really impressed by the way Beast Kingdom have given this figure to us. Everything is soft good apart from the shoes, obviously. So let's test out the movement of this figure, starting off with the head sculpt. So it can move left and right, no problem. And it has a ball joint, so there's full rotation for the head sculpt if you want. And it can tilt left and right as well. And then downwards slightly, and then upwards slightly as well. So there's definitely good movement on the head sculpt. And then for the arms, now he does have this long purple jacket, which can kind of get in the way, especially as it's a soft cloth. So I'm going to be very careful. So the arms can push forwards and backwards if you want, but just do it very slowly because I don't want you to break any of the joints inside. And there is rotation, I can feel it, but you can see that it's very limited because of this jacket, and I don't want to force it too much. There is a bend on the arms, and you can also turn it left and right. And then for the hands, there's rotation, and I'm sure there's some sort of hinge, as we kind of expect with these figures. So arm articulation is quite limited because of this jacket. Maybe I'll take it off later and try it again. But then for the body, there's a lot of clothes in the way, but you can see he has a waist swivel, no problem. Tilt side to side, I can't really feel anything, but there is definitely some sort of movement, and you can definitely turn it left and right, so there is rotation on the body. Upper body and lower half is kind of just one piece from what I'm feeling. Doesn't look like there's two pieces. And then for the legs, now be very careful again because you don't want to split any of his trouser pieces, but you can actually stretch them side to side, which is actually quite good. And then they kick forwards, so it seems as though the leg movement is way more smoother because of course the materials are a lot thinner as well. And there's rotation on the leg inside if you want. And then there's also the full knee bend, which is expected. And then for the foot, rotation, no problem. A small hinge, not so much. And there's also a hinge on the toes. So articulation is quite standard, but also quite limited on the arms because of this jacket. So maybe I'll take it off and then try it again. So I've now removed his long jacket, and you can see that it should give him a bit more freedom to move his arms. As you can see, there's less kind of bulk in the way. So there is rotation on the arms, and there is a arm bend if you want, even though it's in the back, but you can see there's a lot more flexibility in terms of the movement there. And I feel that there's also band inside his jacket here, his blazer. You can maybe kind of create like a wind effect if you want. I can kind of feel there is a band that goes all the way up. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, that's kind of the extra articulation once you remove the outer jacket. And if you want to do more, which I probably won't do, but you can remove this jacket as well and just have it with the waistcoat. So that's the movement of this Joker figure, and now we can switch up some of the accessories. So now we can take a look at the accessories included, and I'm going to start off with a simple one, and that is his trademark hat. So I like the way they built this. It is a soft material which kind of resembles like a real life one, to obviously match the actual figure itself. So you can just throw it on top of the head sculpt, and you can see that it's a pretty accurate look to this Joker. So it gives you another option. Sometimes the hats can look either oversized or too small, but in this case I think it fits really well. The other option would have been to maybe just include a head sculpt with a hat that you can't remove, but obviously this gives him a bit more flexibility, as you can kind of pose it on the side as well, like he's holding onto it. So that's one of the benefits of having like a separate hat from the head. The second accessory we can take a look at is the gas mask, which is actually quite memorable. He gave one to Vicky Vale, and there was also another scene at the parade when he actually uses it. So it's kind of made in a soft rubbery material, which you can kind of bend. And in the parade, I believe he threw it on for like 2 seconds, and you can kind of create that look in this figure as well. So what you do is you kind of move the hand up to his face and try and hold that mask. So let me just focus. You can see, you can kind of create that look. So it's a nice accessory to attach onto, and I think it's one of the accessories where you can just pull it to the side if you want and it will still really work. The next accessory is the posy, which is an actual weapon. He uses it to spray the acid, and obviously it's meant to be attached to the side of his jacket, and it doesn't really have a clip or anything. I'm not sure if he has some sort of magnet in his body for you to attach it on. I'm gonna have to test it out later on, but you can see that it's very detailed and it's pretty important as well for Joker. So this is definitely a nice touch as well. The next accessory is the set of teeth, or the denture as they call it. There's not much to it, it's just a rubbery type of plastic material. You can't open or close it, but this was definitely memorable because I think it was when Batman fights him in the last scene and just knocks him out and the teeth falls out. It was quite funny in the movie, but yeah, one that a lot of people do remember. And the next accessory is a can of spray, and I don't remember when he uses this in the film. Was it when he goes to the art museum and just vandalizes all the paintings, or this is used for an attack? But either way, it's still a nice cool accessory, and it's in a green color with some gold design, so I assume this is accurate to the movie. And then we also get a set of cards in hand, and this is actually a pretty iconic kind of accessory for Joker. The only thing about this is that it's not painted at all, so it's just a white set of cards, so no design at the front or the back. We also get the bright orange megaphone, which was memorable in the parade scene. And then we get the remote control in the orange color, and from what I remember, I believe he may have used this during the parade to set off the gas, but I could be wrong. We also get another handheld device, which is the walkie-talkie. We also get the cane with some gold design, and this is made out of some sort of hard plastic material, so just be careful, it's not rubber, so you don't want to break it. And they've also included the barrel or pistol, whatever you want to call it, and this is actually quite a nice bonus because nowadays you don't always get the guns with the figures. And they've also included a second pistol, but this time with a bang flag attached to it, and this is definitely one of my favorite accessories. And the last 8 accessories you just saw Joker hold in hand was a mixture of the different hands included for interchangeability. So including the one right out of the box, there were a total of 7 sets of different hands, so 14 in total. And it does include a set of fisted hands, which is good for the punching poses. And before we take a look at the stand, one other accessory included is obviously the alternative head sculpt. So the one out of the box is actually a very good sculpt already. You have Joker smirking, but they have also included the laughing head. And this one, the face sculpt isn't as good as the standard one in my opinion, but I think it's still pretty accurate. So this is another option if you want, but I personally prefer the standard one out of the box, which is the smiling gritted teeth version. So for the final accessory is the display stand. What I like about this is it's very unique to the character itself, Joker. So it has its purple colors, his logo and the name, because some companies can just give you the same stand for all the figures in the line. So for the Batman figure, obviously we got the black one with his logo and the Batman name, but I think this one, because it's unique to Joker, it makes it stand out a little bit more on your display. And obviously it does include the actual stand as well as the grapple. And I think every time there is a stand included, it kind of gives it that premium feel of a figure. So here is the Joker figure next to the Batman that we previously got. So when I picked up Batman, I thought it was okay, but it just didn't really scale with anything in my collection. And it felt very alone. But now that I've got a second figure in this scale, I think I'm really starting to like this display. and I can really start building a Burtonverse on its own. And hopefully they would give us a Vicky Vale. It is kind of surprising, but I think she deserves a figure. And obviously later on give us Catwoman and Penguin. So this definitely upgrades my display when you have more than one, and I'm looking forward to future releases. And I'm not going to do much of the size comparisons, but here's a quick idea of it next to an SH Figure Arts as well as a Mafex figure. And as you can see, it is 1/9 scale, so it will definitely tower over most 1/12 scale figures. And I don't really know where to put this figure if I only had other ones. So this one only has its own universe, and that is next to the other Beast Kingdom figures. So now for my final thoughts on the Beast Kingdom Joker from Batman 1989. Firstly, this is an incredible figure simply because they have nailed the look. It almost feels like a Mezco type / shrunken down Hot Toys, and I didn't think Beast Kingdom were capable of this based on what I've seen in the past. So they've definitely made huge strides in terms of their sculpt. And always extra points as we haven't seen a smaller scale Jack Nicholson Joker ever, if you don't include the Toy Biz or Kenner versions. And hopefully one day once we get the Mezco 89 Batman, they'll be looking to make a Joker, and it will definitely have one to compete with. It's not a perfect figure of course, but in terms of the likeness, the materials used on the clothes, and all the accessories included, this is genuinely a good pickup. So some of the improvements I would say is, first, you got to paint the cards. I think having them plain white on both sides seems lazy to me. And the other thing is, even though they've got plenty of his iconic gadgets, they didn't include the super long barrel gun. And I think that's probably the most memorable weapon in the movie when he uses it to shoot down the Batwing. But for some reason, they didn't include it. Even though the second head sculpt isn't terrible, they could have maybe added a third one like his bloodied face from the final battle. But everything else, I don't have much complaints. Maybe the articulation could be better, but it's always limited on the soft good materials figures. And maybe if this is 1/12 scale, I would have given it a even higher score, but that seems kind of unfair since this is 1/9 and I knew what I was getting to. And even though the Batman figure wasn't great, now with this Joker, I think it definitely enhances my display. And if they ever create more figures from the Burtonverse, I will definitely be up for it. So my score is an 8.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and check out the links in the description below, and stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.